2-year-old James Leininger would wake up screaming. Thrashing in his bed, he would yell about a plane crash, frantically kicking his legs and shouting that a little man was trapped inside. When the toddler finally calmed down, he provided his parents with an exact geographic location. He pointed to a dark, volcanic island in the Pacific, Iwo Jima. He then offered forensic-level details. He told his parents he flew a Corsair fighter plane and that his aircraft carrier was called the USS Natoma Bay. He even named a specific pilot he flew with, a friend named Jack Larson. And whenever James drew pictures of his planes, he signed the drawings with a peculiar signature, James 3. Toddlers have vivid imaginations, but they do not intuitively invent World War II Pacific Theater deployment rosters. These were highly searchable historical data points emerging from a 2-year-old. His parents started digging. They found a verified fighter pilot named James Houston Jr. Houston flew off the USS Natoma Bay alongside a pilot named Jack Larson, and he was shot down at the Battle of Iwo Jima. Because the deceased pilot was James Houston Jr., the toddler calling himself James 3 was chronologically accurate. A parent's first instinct is to assume the child overheard a documentary, or that it was a weird coincidence. Yet the statistical unlikelihood of a toddler guessing a matching ship, pilot, friend, and fatal crash site demands a closer look. That is where Dr. Jim Tucker comes in. At the University of Virginia's Division of Perceptual Studies, researchers catalog these anomalies as raw psychiatric data. The Leininger case, packed with verified historical matches, forces a shift from casual skepticism to a formal scientific investigation into how information might survive the death of a physical brain. Dr. Tucker's primary challenge is filtering the noise. He has to separate genuine anomalous information transfer from childhood fantasy, unintentional parental coaching, and outright fraud. This matrix illustrates the strength of case scale. It grades authenticity on 4 parameters: birthmarks, verifiable statements, specific behaviors, and prior family connections. The crucial filter is Type B evidence, statements documented before the deceased is identified, completely ruling out retroactive contamination. James Leininger is considered a premier case, specifically because his parents documented his core claims about the Natoma Bay and Jack Larson, well before anyone found the military records for James Houston Jr. The Leininger case is not an isolated event. Consider 5-year-old Ryan Hammonds from Oklahoma. Ryan claimed to remember a life in Hollywood. He told his mother he drove a green car, had 3 sons, and worked as a talent agent. Dr. Tucker investigated and successfully traced those specific claims to Marty Martin. Martin was a highly obscure 1950s movie extra and Hollywood agent who died in 1964. Marty Martin was not a famous leading man. His life details were never featured in documentaries or mainstream pop culture, making it highly improbable that a 5-year-old in Oklahoma could casually absorb his biography. This plot maps the Division of Perceptual Studies' global database of 2,500 verified cases. At scale, strange consistencies emerge. The median interval between death and birth is 16 months, alongside clusters of unlearned foreign languages. Most strikingly, 70% involve unnatural or violent deaths. In some cases, that trauma leaves physical echoes. Researchers have documented children born with rare birth defects or marks that perfectly align with the fatal autopsy wounds of the deceased personality. When verified psychological memories are accompanied by matching anatomical marks, it forces us to ask how a physical body could inherit the history of a different one. Dr. Tucker is a psychiatrist, not a theologian. He does not promote religious dogma. He presents rigorously verified data that creates friction with the established rules of biology. The standard materialist view dictates that the physical brain entirely generates the mind. When the brain dies, the mind disappears. If memories and physical traits can reappear in a new subject, it challenges the idea that the mind is solely a localized product of the brain. These anomalies are fleeting. The heavy, vivid memories these children carry almost always fade away like morning fog by the time they turn 6 or 7. They leave us with a question: whether consciousness carries over its history into a child's first years, lingering just long enough to be recorded before the slate is finally wiped clean.